You've seen the crazy things MrBeast makes people do to win money, but have you ever wondered what would happen if you tried it for yourself? Is it as easy as it seems? Well, I'm gonna show you everything, but I added a twist. Okay, so right now I'm currently trapped inside this circle for the next 24 hours, like a MrBeast challenge. But in a MrBeast challenge, he'd do everything he could to make sure that you were comfortable and had everything you need. But Paul's job is to try and mentally break me to make me want to leave. Paul, can I have a glass of water? No. From this point on, it was me against the world. Everything from annoyance.
Here, that function is defined in a neighborhood of the point we care about.
To physical challenges that you're about to see gets kind of crazy. Like by this point, it had only been about half an hour and I was already thirsty. And the biggest challenge was something that happened at night. And I'll get to that in a minute. You'll want to stick around. But after just over an hour, this happened. 4 minutes? 4 minutes. Okay. At an hour and 4 minutes, it just crashed. So I'm gonna reset this. That's
disappointing.
So now it's super important to know when I finish, the time on the screen is going to be 23 hours. After a couple hours, the neighborhood kids convinced me to buy a bracelet, and my friends decided to keep making it harder.
I knew this would come. Oh
God. Doing everything they could to try and get me to leave the circle, but of course I refused. While I'm not winning money from this, there's a very good reason why I decided to do this. A reason that could change the way you live your life. But before we get into that, I found another problem. It's only 5 o'clock and it's already starting to cool off, so I don't know how bad it's going to get at night. It was starting to cool off and I was only in a t-shirt. Paul found me something to wear, but I was kind of disappointed.
Tyler, I got a surprise. Put this on.
He said for the next 2 hours I had to wear a weighted vest. By this point I was getting cold, thirsty, hungry. I had to wear a weighted vest and I still had over 19 hours to go.
How you doing, Tyler?
I'm bored.
Bored?
I'm tired. I'm thirsty.
On top of that, my feet were starting to hurt. This was not as easy as I thought. But like I said before, I wasn't gonna give up. I've been through much worse.
How's it going, Tyler?
It's alright. It's getting colder.
I told Paul about how cold it was getting and he had another idea. But again, I was a little disappointed.
Tyler, wouldn't you just love these jackets?
Yeah.
It's getting pretty cold, isn't it?
It is.
Oh.
You see, I can't reach that.
But he wasn't gonna quit there, and neither was I.
Time to make this harder, Tyler.
He made the circle even smaller, but the 2 hours were almost up. But then of course he said,
also, you can't take off that weighted vest, and I'm going to a party, so have fun.
So now I had to wear the weighted vest for the rest of the challenge. And I just turned down a party to stand in a circle all night. Sounds like a lot of fun, but it gets worse. Alright, it's been just over 7 hours. It says 6 hours, but it's been 7, you know the deal. I'm really cold. My feet really hurt. I haven't been able to sit down, and I'm not gonna be able to sit down. I'm not gonna be able to sleep, and it's just gonna get colder. Plus, that water is just out of my reach. Same with the jacket. After a while, I thought of something. I have an idea. Paul left the tape in my reach when he made the circle smaller. I thought I could loop it around the glass, but it was too small. But after a few minutes of trial and error... Oh, I got it!
I'm Spider-Man.
I didn't have to leave. Definitely wasn't enough, but it got even harder. Alright, it's been just over 8 hours. I have 16 more to go. I'm really cold. I could probably even grab those hoodies with the tape, but I want to push through. I wanted to see how long I'd last in this temperature in just a t-shirt. It's hard to tell, but it's a few degrees above freezing, but the sun will rise in 8 hours, so it'll be okay. I decided to do this until something happened. So it's been less than 10 degrees for the past 4 hours, and I'm just in a t-shirt here. So to avoid the risk of hypothermia, which is when your body falls below 35 degrees, I'm going to go get that jacket. Could you grab my jacket? I'm getting like some hypothermia symptoms.
What?
I'm getting a few hypothermia symptoms. Thank you. Now keep in mind, at this point it was 2 in the morning. It started to get cold at 5. Nearly 9 hours ago. We got a jacket. Let's see if the shivering will stop soon. And I was starting to get really tired. Don't worry guys, I'm still really cold and really thirsty. This jacket made it like doable, but it's still really hard. I was just past the halfway mark. I was falling asleep and my feet were going numb. And despite the jackets, I was still really cold. The only thing I was telling myself is I needed to make it through until sunrise. I figured if I could just make it out until then, I'd be able to use the sunlight to my advantage. We made it to morning. The sun is coming up. My neighbors are gonna think I'm crazy. After I first saw the sky change, it took several hours to warm up. I still had a few hours left before I could finally step out of the circle. And you'll see something pretty amazing happened when I did. But before I do, I want to tell you about why it's so important for me to do this. Because I'm definitely not winning any money. When I was younger, I had asthma and was overweight and can barely do anything physical. So I started doing these challenges. Yo, Paul, I'm hungry. Did you, or what's the food that I get to eat?
Well, you don't get to.
And since then, these challenges have taken me from barely being able to run for 10 minutes at a time to running ultra marathons, losing a ton of fat, and basically doing anything that I've set my mind to. And as I keep doing harder and harder challenges, it all becomes easier, which has led me now to this point.
There you go.
Let's go. Okay, before I step out, I just want to say that this was a pretty hard challenge, but I've definitely done harder challenges. And imagine if I was competing for money.